Hey guys, it's Steve with Orlando Collector Defense, and I got you to laugh on the first,
You did.
almost the first picture. We are here tonight with a great artist. It is Michael. I have a DeLorean, and you don't, Barnard.
Yeah.
And of course, we have behind the camera, the voice in the microphone. We have Trish. I watch fail videos to see if I'm on any of them. Halsey.
So true.
And we are here to talk with Michael tonight, who is an awesome artist. As you guys saw from a lot of the intro video right there. How are you doing tonight, Michael?
Yeah, I'm doing very good. How are you?
Doing great. Now, you're out in California enjoying all the nice weather out there.
Yep. Love it out here. Only been out here a couple months so far, but I love it. It's great.
So you're originally here from Florida. So you gave up hurricanes to go to like a burning state.
Actually, I'm from Ohio originally, but I spent 17 years in Florida. And yeah, it was pretty much one last summer of multiple hurricanes. A lightning strike hit our backyard, fried every appliance we had in the house. And about that time, my wife and I said, you know what? It's time to start thinking about moving west. So we ended up in Arizona for a couple years, and then we finally settled out here. So this is where I always wanted to be. I love it here. It's great.
Let's see, I'm from Colorado. Trish is from Nebraska. We lived in Colorado forever, but it was almost the same thing with Colorado. We had one winter that there was blizzards and snow like every other week, and we said, we're going to where there's no snow anymore. So we came to Florida.
Florida's good. Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, but they have hurricanes. And I'm like, but you don't freeze to death in a hurricane.
That's true. It's true.
Now, you do all kinds of art. And as you saw, I went back to some of your earlier work where you did a lot of logos and stuff for a lot of the local places around here.
Oh, yeah.
Is that where you kind of got your start?
Yeah, definitely. So I went to art school in Ohio, in Columbus, the Columbus College of Art and Design. I got out of school and now I'm stuck with an art degree. What do I do? I always wanted to live in Florida, so I moved down there and I ended up in an awesome t-shirt company in Ormond Beach called Hot Action Sportswear. It's been around forever. And I was kind of thrown into the digital side of stuff, which I was brand new at. And I learned from some awesome artists there. Ended up there for about 17 years. I ended up becoming art director there. And, but yeah, they did a lot of the restaurants and surf places and stuff up and down the coast there. A lot of biker stuff, all the bike week, designs and that kind of stuff. So you'll see a lot of that. You probably did see a lot of that stuff in there. But yeah, that's kind of where I honed everything. And then eventually I got to the point where I just kind of started picking up freelance work, and I realized I could make more in a couple hours at night than I was making all week, at my day job. So my wife went back to school and got her master's degree. And as soon as she got through, I left and launched my own, illustration company, and I've been busy with that ever since. So it's been good. I'm lucky to get to do what I love for a living. So.
Oh yeah, and one second. Remember the gentleman I was telling you about, Boris? He says, "Hey, Mr. Steve, Miss Trish, and Mr. Drawing Man, it's the best show on Thursday." Thank you, Boris. Always love having Boris on. Now, one of the things you do is you also draw Garbage Pail Kids.
I do.
Well, I'm going to show you. Mr. Boris right there is basically a Garbage Pail Kid.
Yeah, he looks like one.
So I thought that was perfect. I had to put it up. And I was going to, that's Mr. Boris right there.
Awesome. Okay.
He is great. He's a great guy. Now, on his show, he has to sign disclaimers and stuff. We tell him on my show he doesn't have to. He's free to say things.
Free to troll.
Yep.
That's good.
Now, like I said, you've done Garbage Pail Kids, but like your claim to fame right now is disc golf.
Disc golf, yes. So, yeah. So for those who aren't familiar, it's frisbee golf. I had no idea that it was such a big thing. There was a course in Daytona. Used to drive by it all the time. There was never anybody out there. Like I kind of knew what it was. Didn't think much about it. I had done a sort of a fake Garbage Pail Kid that kind of went viral, the Tide Pod one, Tide Pod Rod, and that was one of the first. Yeah, it was everywhere, like overnight. And a guy from Detroit contacted me, and he said, "Hey, I put together discs for disc golf. I'd love to use your artwork on a disc," which was cool that he even asked, because most people don't even ask. But he said, if you let me use that, I'll print 50 of them. I'll send you like 10 of them, because you can turn around and sell those for like 40 or 50 bucks a piece. And it kind of blew him off a little bit. But the more I got to chatting with him, I was like, all right. So I sent him the art. He sent me the discs, and sure enough, I mean, it was almost overnight. I'm in this disc golf world, and I've got people contacting me left and right, for tournament discs, and it's all about custom art and stuff. So this guy, his name's Tony. He just happened to put me in touch with some of the top people in the industry. He's just one of those guys that knew everybody. So yeah, it was like literally overnight. The next day, I had more work than I could keep up with. That was about 3 years ago, and it's been nonstop ever since. So yeah, it's a big sport. I had no idea. But
Well, I didn't realize how big it was until I was doing some research on you, and it's like everything was about the disc artwork, which I like that one right there. I love just the detail that goes into that.
Yeah, that was a good one there. And not only that, the discs, that's from a company called Discraft, and they can print these foil textures over the artwork. It's almost like a holographic foil, and it's hard to get a picture of them, but like once you have one in your hands and you're looking at it, it's really cool. So I think a lot of people collect my stuff and just hang it on the wall. So I'm trying to do more discs that guys will actually take out, and play with and throw. But I've got a pretty good collector market going with that stuff, so it's good. What's up?
Boris says I owe him 63 cents for licensing of his picture. You know what, Boris? I am feeling generous tonight. I'll even give you $1 for it. And Scott C. Fenster, beautiful work, man.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate that.
Scott is the one who runs a show that Boris works on. But Scott is a sculptor.
Sculptor, nice.
Yes, sculptor. That is it.
Nice.
I was saying his last name, and it's like I kept doing the ers. But he has done work on some movies for the local rodent that's out here, and we can't say the name because we don't want to get sued.
Money, yeah.
So, but he does all kinds of stuff out here.
Cool.
And Boris needs a disc in solid steel to throw at violent producer lady.
Nice.
$1, huzzah! Boris, make you a sponsor for his next segment. As long as I'm not like Tammy Jammies, okay? Because you put two Tammy Jammies now, and just call him Fenster Fruiter. Okay, so let's go back to disc golf.
Sure.
I didn't, like I said, I never knew it was such a big thing until I started looking at your stuff.
Yeah, it's surprising. And I started doing so many custom designs, and I got a lot of followers that are into it. And I started kind of putting out my own line of discs. That's one of them from my own line. And so I'll order up like 100 or 150 of them and put them up for sale, and they usually sell out in a couple hours and stuff. So it's fun. The guys are great. All the people that are into that are really cool, and it's been a lot of fun. So I've got a bunch of them lined up still to do, and hopefully I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a untapped market for artists. I feel like at some point more artists are going to catch on and start jumping in there. But until then, I'm just going to do as much as I can with it.
Okay, disclaimer, people. This is his job. All the artists that watch the show, this is his job. He found it first.
Yeah.
Now, do they tell you what they want on the discs, or they just say, "Hey, you got free reign"?
A lot of times they have a little bit of an idea. It's just like I do. my big background is in T-shirt design, and it's not too much different than that. I mean, it's people come to you, they have a club, they say, well, we're known for this or that, or this is our mascot, or this is what's big in our area, and you just kind of try and start there and work on it. But most of them are really cool. They don't care. They have a little bit of a theme, and they just tell you to run with it. And, I come up with what I can, and for the most part, they go for it. So it works out good. I mean, T-shirt design has a lot of parts and pieces to it. Matching fronts and backs and sleeves, and you got to do the separations to get it ready for screen print. There's like a whole process to it. Whereas the disc golf stuff is just you do the art and you send a file and you're done. You move on to the next one. So I like that a lot more.
Now, Mr. Boris, can you post his info? Boris has friends in Austin, Texas who play disc golf and may want custom stuff. So Trish is gonna get that info.
Okay.
Over to him.
Yep, I take custom orders pretty much around the clock. So let me know.
Well, see, look at if anything out of the show, you might have a couple custom orders.
Okay, that works.
Now, you said there wasn't a big difference in doing T-shirts and the disc, but you wear one and you throw the other.
It's true.
So I see a big difference. I mean, I throw my shirt and Trish hits me and tells me to go pick it up. So
very much so.
So what else are you into? Because from what I've seen, you're into everything.
I'm a big pop culture dork, so I'm into a lot of stuff. Obviously I'm an 80s fanatic.
I was gonna say you're kind of stuck in the 80s from what I saw, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I have a love for the 80s. I don't think I'm stuck there, but I prefer it.
So do a lot of us.
Yeah, a lot of us. 80s were fun.
Oh yeah.
I'm even gonna do your 80s mashup right here so everybody can see.
Oh yeah.
As you see, he enjoys your art.
Oh, yeah. Well, I sit there and when I saw this one, I'm going through. Oh, look, there's Barf. There's Teen Wolf, Alf.
Yeah.
And I can't ever remember what his name is from Never Ending Story way back there behind the.
That would be Falcor.
Yeah, but it's
the left dragon. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can never remember his name.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to cram as much childhood into some of these as I can. They usually go over pretty well. I always get a few people, why didn't you add this one? Or why, it's like, well, you can't put everything. And, that one was sort of my 80s creature, non-humans for the most part.
But see, you know what I love about this? You got the one character that I don't think has enough love. You got Johnny Five.
Yeah. Yeah, I put him right in the front down there.
And it's even through what is the Garbage Pail Kid that's back there by the critter? That's what vinyl.
I think you're looking at Bony Tony.
Is it Bony Tony?
Yeah, the skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Bony Tony.
Okay. Well, you know what? I just bought his pop on Hot Topic today.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Because it just came out as part of the Emerald City Spring Convention.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's another fan base that's pretty awesome. The Garbage Pail Kids guys. That's.
Oh yes, we're all crazy.
Yeah, yeah, they're very passionate. So that's good. That's a good thing.
And Boris says they lied. It wasn't Never Ending Story because they make a sequel. And Scott says the 80s were a good time to grow up. Good times, video games, and movies. Yeah, they don't make that kind of stuff anymore. I think the closest thing I get is Stranger Things.
Yeah.
To have that 80s vibe.
Yeah.
Because it's set in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not the same. I feel bad for, my daughter's 12. I try and show her as much of this stuff as I can, but it's not the same. We're lucky to be a kid. To be a kid in the 80s, wouldn't trade that for anything.
Oh, yeah. My kids sit there. It's like, look at how stupid that all looks. Where's the CGI? I'm like, it was puppets. It was animatronics. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but your daughter has to love half of this stuff, like the Gremlin.
She does. She's into that stuff. I mean, there's been a few of them I've had to kind of make her sit down and watch, but usually by the time they're over, she loves it. So she's pretty good about that. She knows. She's probably way more familiar with a lot of '80s music and movies and stuff than most of her friends are.
Okay, now Boris wants to know: did Mr. Bernard see the Garbage Pail Kids movie, and if so, what did he think about it? And then, oops, Bernard.
Okay, so when I was a kid and I collected them, I remember they used to have little ads on the wrappers. You'd open up a pack and it would say "Garbage Pail Kid movie's coming soon." I was so excited to see that movie, and I made my parents take me to see that movie. To this day, they still give me shit for making them watch that movie. It was awful. It was awful. I get it. It's fine, but you had to go, and now it's sort of like a cult classic. It is one of the worst movies ever made. It's not good.
But it's one of those, though, you still got to watch it every so often just to remember.
Yeah, I see little clips of it here and there. And, in some of those Garbage Pail Kid groups on Facebook and stuff. It's like, wow, that was bad.
Well, and what the kid who starred in it is
Sean Astin's brother. That's Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Astin. Yeah.
Mackenzie Astin and Gomez Adams' son, and so and going. Let's see what Bernard or not Bernard Boris says. That was the Citizen Kane of the '80s movies.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And Scott loved Garbage Pail Kids and Wacky Packs 80 Gold.
Yeah, definitely.
Scott, though, I still buy my Garbage Pail Kids. They cost me $10 a pack almost now, but I still buy them.
Yeah, they're expensive now.
I couldn't believe I actually went and it's like, oh man, look, I found some, and it's like, and I went and I bought it. I told Trish, she's like, how much are they? I said, I don't know. I go over there and it was like $12. I'm like, holy crap, I gotta break the bank for this one.
Yeah, they get you now. It's all different. I'm not even sure they're stickers anymore. There's no gum. I don't know. It's not the same.
No, it's not the stickers and all that. So when I hit these like conventions and the toy shows, I like to find some of the already open packs and go from there. And
yeah, I'm lucky enough. I was able to hang on to my entire collection from when I was a kid, and I was way overboard with those. We had a little general store next to our house, and I used to go up there every day. My mom would give me lunch money every day, and I would like eat the bare minimum so I could keep as much of the money as I could. And every day after school, I'd run up there and get more of them. I've got thousands and thousands of them. I'm lucky enough I was able to keep all of them. I still have them all, so that's pretty awesome. I'm probably never let those go.
oh yeah, don't ever let those go. I sit there and cry about letting mine go. Do the kids live in Garbage Pail, or was that false advertising? No, if I remember the movie right, they actually did come out of the Garbage Pail.
Yeah, I don't remember how that works, but I think they did too. I'm not sure.
I'm sorry. I told you Boris is funny. Now, I'm looking behind you. Is that a DeLorean Back to the Future?
It is. In fact, it's one of those foil ones I was telling you about. So, where's my camera? So that was a officially licensed one that I did. I guess it was last year, or the year before. I got contacted by a guy that put on like one of those Back to the Future celebrations, kind of like an annual thing where you could come and a group of people would get together in LA and they would take you around and show you the filming locations and that kind of stuff. And they were putting together some stuff to raise money for Michael J. Fox's foundation. And they had me do some custom art for some skateboards that they were auctioning off, and that was the artwork I did for that. And as I was talking to the guy, I said, I'm doing these discs. They're really cool. So he ordered like 50 of those, and I ended up with one. Those are going for good money too. So I'm hanging on to that one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Everything you do should come out with good money. Because like I said, I love the artwork. I'm going to show a couple more. Here's another DeLorean of yours.
Oh yeah, big fan of the car.
Well, I know because I was looking at somebody who sat there going out to like the desert taking pictures of his.
Yes.
And how do you have somebody actually roll up on you and ask you to buy your car from you?
It happens all the time. It happened about a week ago. I went to take some pictures here in California. I pulled over on the side of the road, and some big, black pickup truck had been following me for like 2 blocks. And they just pull right up. Hey, I love your car. How much is it? This car is not for sale. So, they're out there. If people really want them, you can find them. It's not as hard as you think, but definitely hanging on to mine if I can afford to keep it. You don't even want to know what I just paid to have that car worked on. Not cheap.
I can imagine. Boris says that disc is amazing.
Thank you, Boris.
Now see, Boris and Scott and that whole household over there, they are amazing artists in their own right. So they know good artwork.
That's good. Well, thank you.
Okay, cool. You know what? I forgot to display our name. Oh, look at that. I forgot to put our names on there. There's supposed to be a place in Houston that builds stock DeLoreans.
I have bought parts from them before. Yep. There's 2 or 3 places in the country. I know there's one in New York. There's the Houston one's a big one. I actually bought this one over in Bonita Springs, and in fact, they moved their location to Orlando, so they're over by you now. And there's a place in Huntington Beach that works on them too. That's where I just took mine. So yeah, they're out there. They're rare, but they're definitely out there.
Now, speaking of the 80s, I'm going back to the 80s. Now, is Back to the Future one of your favorite movies?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Goonies, Back to the Future, Stand By Me. Those are all my favorites. I love all that stuff.
Well, I was gonna say Goonies because when I was going kind of through your Facebook, it's like you even have your daughter sitting there with the coin at a certain point.
Yeah, I make her do some of that stuff. She just kind of rolls her eyes, but she's good about it.
What's good at kids if you can't do cheesy things with them?
Exactly.
She'll appreciate it one day.
Right?
She's gonna turn around and say, "My dad was the coolest." I might not have thought. Now, going back to the Future, which one's your favorite? 1, 2, or 3?
The first one for sure. Yeah. It used to be the second one. As I've gotten older, I think the first one aged the best. That's my favorite one for sure.
See, I like number 1. Number 2, I was never really that fond of. I really loved number 3.
The Western, yeah, they're all good.
I'm a big Western guy, so that kind of I liked how that all.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I remember being so anxious for part 2, and when I was a kid, I loved it. Now when I watch it, it's like, I still love it, but the first one's just perfect. So.
Well, yeah, because it was the first of its kind. That's like with all the 80s movies, it was the first of their kind.
Yeah.
Now, because you even got Vacation. I was looking.
Yep.
And is that Grandma up there on top?
That is Grandma. That's actually, I think that's Aunt Edna.
Or Aunt Edna. Sorry.
Grandma, same thing.
And her dog's collar on the back. Yeah.
Yep. Dog's gone.
And you're a big Ghostbusters fan too?
Yeah, somewhat. Can't love the 80s without Ghostbusters, so yeah.
To Boris never got ending of number 1. Why did they have to rush? They had a time machine.
I'm guessing they were just anxious. I don't know.
Because they had a time machine, but it was only going to work with the lightning strike, Boris. That's why they had to rush. Because you can't go back in time to the lightning strike again if you missed a lightning strike and your time machine doesn't work.
I think he's talking about at the end when Doc comes back and gets them and tells them they have to go to 2015, and they kind of rush out of there like that. I think that's what he's asking. I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm probably wrong.
I'm not sure. I'm just a huge dork for that movie, so I think I know what he's talking about.
Ooh, the family truckster.
Yeah.
Oh, from now. I am going to go back. I've been trying to hold out because you probably get talked to a lot about the Garbage Pail Kids, and I didn't want it all to be about the Garbage Pail Kids.
That's
So
okay.
I've been holding out, but I had some questions. Now, how long have you worked with Tops?
Let's see. I contacted them for the first time probably 5 or 6 years ago. Um, I don't do a ton of work with them anymore. I did a lot of sketch cards with them. So it started with the Garbage Pail Kids, and it kind of moved into the Star Wars cards and The Walking Dead and Stranger Things, and some wacky packages. I've done a bunch of different sets for them, but the Garbage Pail Kids were always my favorite thing. But they're tricky to get in with because Topps has a handful of artists they use for their main Garbage Pail Kids, and that's it. And getting your foot in that door is next to impossible. And like even right now, even if you tried to email somebody there, you probably won't hear back from them. I mean, it's really hard. And the guys that do work on those cards are very protective of it. That's their baby, so they don't want anybody else helping out. So it's tricky. But I've been working with them for a little while, so that was sort of like a bucket list thing, to work on some Garbage Pail Kid stuff. So every once in a while I'll shoot them an email, I'll get some ideas. But honestly, I almost have more fun now just kind of making up my own, and I'll do stuff that Topps would never do, because they used to be fairly offensive, but not so much anymore. So sometimes I'll see something in the news, or I'll think of something, and I'll just knock out my own, and that's almost more fun for me anyway. Watching it kind of go viral and stuff. So it's kind of nice.
Now, this is one of your own personal ones, right?
That is one I did for actually the show in Vegas last year, and which was in March, which is right when that hit, right when the virus hit. In fact, that was the last thing in Vegas to close. In fact, we weren't even sure we were going to get to do the show. They pretty much shut down that entire city while we were there tearing down from that show. But yeah, I did that card for that show, and I think they only printed a couple hundred of them, I think at the most, and they gave me 100 of them, and they were gone pretty much instantly. So, but yeah, that one was a big hit.
Now I do have a question before we go over to Boris. Now, when you do a drawing for Garbage Pail Kids, do they give you the name, or do they just tell you? How does that work? Do they tell you what they want, or do they give you a name and then you do your concept? Or
so the ones that I worked on with them, I pretty much pitched the idea and the name. I can't think of any that I worked on where they didn't go with the name that I gave them. I know they have a process there where they'll take ideas, and sometimes they may think another artist is a better fit for a certain concept, and in which case they'll you get like a little bit of money if you come up with the idea, and then you get more obviously if you do the art, and then you get all of it if you come up with the idea and do the art. And all the ones I've done, I pretty much came up with the names, but I'm not really sure how that works with some of the other guys.
So this is one of yours. So you came up with his name and the concept?
Yeah. So pretty much all the ones that I worked on, all the official ones I worked on, were all done for online sets. And what they were doing, they don't do as much of it anymore, but what they were doing at the time was they were trying to do cards based on like current events or things that were happening in the news. So if something happened, you could pitch them an idea, and you needed to turn it over like really fast. And because I work digitally, and most of those guys don't, I'm able to turn over art, in like a night. Like that was probably done in one night. So my idea for that was when another Transformers movie was coming out, and I was just like, oh my god, another one. So that's how I came up with that idea. And so I pitched it to him, and you kind of write up the whole little email along with it, kind of pitching your idea, trying to sell it to him. Say, hey, there's another movie coming out. It's getting old. Here's my concept, and then they write you back, and they'll say yes or no. And I remember being fairly frustrated at the time, the art director they had there at the time, the guy that I was working with, you would pitch him really, really great ideas. I thought were really good ideas all the time. And he just, nah, that's not funny, or he just didn't get it. It was kind of like, I don't know. You wondered if he'd ever collected Garbage Pail Kids or but himself. He just did not seem to get it. It's that part's kind of frustrating. But you could get some through, and usually the ones we got through were pretty well received. That was a good one. That was probably one of the most popular ones I ever did. Was that one?
That one right there.
Yeah.
Now, what is? Since you said this was an online one, so I must have missed this whole online ones. But do you come up with the second name too? Because there's usually an A and a B.
Yeah, usually both names. I'm trying to remember if that one had a B name. I think most of them did. Yeah, usually what you would do is you would just submit like a handful of names, and then they would pick which ones they liked out of that. But you could usually say, this is what I think is the best name. Send it in, and they would set it up. So. Yeah.
Now when they okay, when they do accept it, do you get do they send you your card, say, hey, you made this, and you at least get one, or
no, it never worked that way. Usually what they would do is you would turn in the artwork. They would say, okay, on Wednesday we're going to release the new sets online for pre-sale. They would see how many orders they got in. That would determine the run of how many they were going to print. So if they only got if 150, 200 people ordered it, that's about how many they would print. And that was pretty much it. Then it was on to the next one. So I would usually try and go on and buy up a few of mine so that I would have them. But no, Topps isn't known for for really doing that. So yeah, anything I ever had. That's not to say if I hadn't asked them that they might have, but I never really asked them. I just bought a couple. So
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Now also, I do have one more. I'm gonna pull that one up again. Is there something that when you're making yours that you put in it, so kind of like your own special Michael did this type thing?
Not usually with stuff like that. It's funny. You may be familiar with the Iron Horse Saloon, the bike week over in Daytona.
Yeah.
The company I used to work for owned that place, and we did all their T-shirts, and that was a big business, was the T-shirts there. So that kind of became my thing. Is I did a lot of the Iron Horse T-shirts. I would always have my name in the shirts, and then when bike week would come around, we would go up there and get to drinking and party, and you start meeting people, and well, what do you do? And I'd say, well, I made that T-shirt you're wearing, and then they'd say, oh, no, you didn't. And then you could show them, pull their shirt back, and say, hey, there's my name right there. So that's really the only thing I ever really did stuff like that with. There's
actually
some
cool.
and things I've
I
done.
like that.
Okay, let's go to some comments. Go back to Boris correcting me. Yes, they had to run the 2015 like right then. No pee break, no snack, no nothing. And since Boris had to correct me, he went from $1 down to 75 cents.
That's what you get, Boris.
And then Boris, is the collector card market still as popular as it was in the 80s, or is it now just for certain people these days?
I think it's mainly for certain people, but probably those same people from the 80s. The kids that collected those, who kind of have a certain nostalgia for them, and those are the hardcore collectors now. And I think that's pretty much what they catered into, with what they put out now. Especially with how expensive they are. That's not something the average, you see some of those packs, like you said, they're hanging on the rack and they're like, a couple dollars for like five or 10 cards. And you're just like, God,
I'd be happy for a couple dollars. I think the lowest I've seen for a pack of them is like $5.
Yeah, that's about right. The Targets, yeah.
If you can find them.
If you can find them.
Yeah, if you can find them. And so, yeah, I think they kind of cater to a specific market, whereas, obviously they were a big fad in the mid-'80s, and they were just kind of at every Walgreens checkout, everywhere. So it's a little
I remember the wax pack. You would go to a Circle K or something, and they'd have the box right there next to the cash register. You look up at your dad, can I, you got the gum and the wax pack, and it was just everything that was so cool with it. And you don't even get gum now.
No, it's totally different now.
Okay, Ron Baxley Jr. Congrats on the new Garbage Pail Kids, Michael. I enjoyed the originals in the 80s. Hello to O.C.D. Steve. I have not been able to watch the show in a few weeks. I've been really busy, but wanted to come back tonight. Well, thank you, Ron. Always glad to have you back. I hope your trip to Florida a couple weekends ago was a good one. Sorry we didn't go up to see that one because we were in Bartow the day before for that convention. And then, Ron, I think we all start to feel Optimus past his prime at times.
Yeah.
And John saying awesome about the Optimus.
Oh, thanks, John.
And then there we go. Michael, have you done any work for Topps Disney app cards too?
I haven't done that. I haven't really reached out to them as much lately. I stay pretty slammed with the usual work that I have coming in. So sometimes when I get a little bit of downtime, I'll reach out and kind of get my hands into some of that kind of stuff. But those I haven't worked on those.
And Boris is 75 cents. That's fine. Boris will put your spot after Sweaty Jim's Perspiration Emporium and Orange Stand. That's okay. I like oranges. I forgot what I was going to ask.
Boris got in your head.
Boris got in my head with that one.
It worked.
Okay. So, do you there's a Garbage Pail Kid app game. Have you played that one?
I have not played that. I've heard of that. I've seen some of the guys talking about it. I haven't messed with it. Have you? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I actually because it kept coming across my Facebook like the last month. I wonder why, because I've been researching Garbage Pail Kids and Michael Barnard and all that. So why would Facebook know I was looking at Garbage Pail Kids? But yeah, it's actually a fun little battle game, kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I wondered what they did with that. I wasn't really sure what it was, or if it was a game or like a build your own custom Garbage Pail Kids or what it was. I wasn't really sure.
And I wasn't sure of it either. That's why it's like, well, if I don't like it, I can always take it off the phone. So, yeah, it's just you level up your cards, and you get so many. Like, I think Atom Bomb is one of the main ones that you try to get little tokens to unlock his card.
Yeah.
Speaking of Atom Bomb, I know you sent me a cool one. Didn't you? Maybe you didn't. I thought you did.
I think it's in there.
Yeah. You sent me a lot of cool pictures, so I'm trying to see. That way, if people don't know who Atom Bomb is,
they'll know right away when they see him.
Let's say if they don't know who Atom Bomb is,
yeah,
they don't know Garbage Pail.
Well, it could be Blasted Billy.
That's true.
No.
So I'm.
Hold on, real.
Oh, go ahead.
Ron says, thanks for the answer about the Topps Disney app cards. I'm not sure if it was Topps, but I heard that a card company did a very limited run of Superman Returns, and those are worth a mint.
Nice.
Nah, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you going to say?
That's okay. I was going to say there's a guy that collects like all kinds of bootleg Garbage Pail Kids and pretty much bootleg, non-sports types cards, things. His name's Dove. He lives somewhere out here in California. I've talked to him a few times, and I've sent him some stuff. But he owns the original Atom Bomb painting, and I've seen some of the guys in the groups that have gone over there and been to his house and taken pictures holding that painting. I think it's worth some like insane amount. It's worth like a couple $100,000, I think, at this point.
Oh, jeez.
It's not a huge painting. It's 12 or 14 inches tall or something. But man, I'm dying to get over there and see him. So I'm gonna there's one version of it. I think I sent you the full color version too. I thought I did.
See, that's what I could have swore you did, but for some reason, hold on. While we're talking, I'm going to be looking because I could have swore you did, but for some reason, I don't know why I didn't. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I put them in a different folder. That's why. I put it in a special folder for you.
Ah,
So we'll get that to come up. Boom. There we go.
there it is. Yeah, so basically, for fun, a couple years ago, I went and I started with that one, and I ended up doing like 10 of them, where I kind of just did my own take on, you know, on those characters and changed up the backgrounds in some of them, just kind of put my own colors into them and did my own thing with them. And I was selling prints of them, you know, which according to Topps is a no-no, so they kind of shut me down on that. They were cool about it, but they were just like, you got to stop. I was like, all right, fine. But I was doing great with those. They were super popular. Kind of wish I hadn't gotten in trouble with those because I would have done a ton more of them. I shouldn't say trouble. They were actually very cool about it, but I was like, all right. So I pulled them down.
Now, Ron wants to know, weren't there a few tops pulled that were too controversial?
There might have been a couple. I know there was one called Schizophrene, which was like a two-headed girl that was beaten, kind of like a bipolar type thing. I think that one caused some issues. I'm not sure that any were actually pulled, though. That's a good question. What seemed like it was so offensive back then, now it's just kind of like, it's not. It seemed like a big thing when we were kids, but since
Well, when we were all kids, less things were offensive back then.
yeah, Dr. Seuss.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head.
yeah.
Now, I was you also sent a picture of the reaction figures. So did you do the cards, or
So,
did you actually?
yeah, I did the package art for those. Somebody had seen some of my work on my Etsy store and sent me a message, and he was like, "Hey, we're putting together a product, and can I use some of your DeLorean art?" I was like, because I get a lot of those kind of messages, and I was like, well, I'm kind of selling prints of them, so I really don't want to, cause confusion or anything, like letting someone else license something of mine. And the more I got to talking with the guy, I realized he was from Super 7. I didn't really realize who I was talking to, and I was like, well, why don't I just make you a custom one? And he said, yeah, that'd be really cool. So then once I realized who I was talking to, I knocked out the artwork, and yeah, those came out really cool. So, and like we were talking about before, that those do actually have my name hidden in the back of the DeLorean too. So I did see.
Oh, do they? So I'm gonna have to go through it and now
If you
zoom in.
It's probably really hard to see on the JPEG I sent you, but it's on the lower bumper. If you're ever in Target, you see those, pick one up, you'll see my name on the bottom.
Okay, that's cool.
A new name to search for.
A new name, because see, we actually, if you hand me that one that's over there, we actually search for Scott's name on stuff because he does some work for Mego.
Okay.
So when we're out, it might be over there. When we're out, we always look at the Migos. Oh, did Scott do this one? And we go through the back looking for it. And let's see, because we found one last weekend. Oh, that's cool. We found.
Oh, cool.
And he does the sculpts for like the heads and the body and everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, we go through and boom, if I can show you
Those pictures, nice.
the sculpture. Never gone backwards. Is Scott Finster, and we go whenever we're there. We always look to see, and
yeah, it's cool that they do that. That those Back to the Futures, they actually do have my name on the backside of them. But
on the backside too.
yeah, they kind of throw out like a little your credits on there, so that was kind of cool. I wasn't expecting that. First time I saw one of those in Target, I flipped it over and I was like, oh wow, they put my name on here. That's cool. So
Hey, it gives, like Trish says, it gives us somebody new to look for. It's like, oh, I know that person.
yeah.
Let's see. Boris wants to know, do you think that most of the cards back in the 80s could be released today?
So, like the Garbage Pail Kids, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I said, what seems like is kind of offensive now really wasn't then. But then, then you kind of look at some of them and they're just cute little babies in bad situations. So I don't know.
Well, I loved them because they were the boys, and I know a lot of girls who did collected the Garbage Pail Kids too, but it was the answer to Cabbage Patch Kids,
Yeah.
and that's what I loved.
Well, and it was brilliant, the way they put names to all of them, and everybody has to try and find their own name, and it gives you a set, something to try and collect. I don't know, they were fun.
TV Stevie, one of my favorites, right there, because he was one of the first ones with Steve on it.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And French Kiss Trish.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ron says awesome package art. Big Back to the Future fan.
Thanks, Ron.
Well, so is Michael, Ron. He might came in after we were talking about that. He's such a big fan. He went out, got his own time machine. But I am sorry because O'Reilly's has been out of stock of the flux capacitor for like a few years.
Yep. Every time I get that that meme sent to me, which is about 2 or 3 times a day, I check.
Hey, I feel good now because I wasn't a meme. I just said it.
That's true.
Because I've actually gone to O'Reilly's website just to see it. Because I saw the meme one time. It's like it is true. Somebody. Okay, Scott has a question for you. Have you done any Monsters, Universal, or otherwise?
I haven't. I'm hoping to do some more stuff with Super 7. I actually did another package set for them, and I'm not really sure I'm allowed to say anything because they haven't released it yet, and they're pretty strict about that. It's a very 80s product, we'll just say. And I keep watching for it to see if they're going to release it. They haven't, but I know they do a lot of that stuff too. So I'm hoping I can kind of get on board with those guys. And I'm not sure how many artists they use for that kind of stuff, but I would love to work on something like that. So we'll see. But not yet.
Scott understands the whole working on something but can't say anything.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm actually working on something right now that is by far the biggest and most badass project I've ever worked on in my life. It's a big one. It's like a 16-month long, but I had to sign like the whole non-disclosure. Like I'm not allowed to talk about it. It's killing me. But I think around Christmas it's due to come out. So if you watch my my Facebook, you'll know when it hits. But yeah, it sucks. That's one of the things. It's fun to work on really cool stuff, and it's fun because you can go online and show people and talk about it, and oh, I remember that, or different kind of thing. But it's hard when you're not allowed to say anything. So I don't want to get in trouble, so I can't say anything.
Oh yeah, we don't want you to get in trouble either. So Boris kind of went into that kind of question. What project would be your dream job?
So it's hard to say because I've been really lucky. I've worked on a lot of cool stuff that I've, wish I could go back and tell my younger self about it. I've worked with, rock bands and all that kind of stuff. But I guess I've always wanted to do movie posters. And I just never really kind of went down that road. And a lot of the movie poster stuff kind of has veered away from artwork, and it's more just like Photoshop collage and that kind of stuff. But my favorite thing is to get work into movies and that kind of stuff. So anything film related is a big deal. The Goonies stuff, I think I sent you some of the Goonies sequel stuff.
Yep.
If that ever comes to fruition, I've pretty much got my foot in the door on that. So that's pretty much my dream job, the Goonies sequel thing. But yeah, there's just so much cool stuff out there. Yeah, there it is.
There we go. Goonies 2.
Yeah.
There we go.
So yeah, so that would be a big one right there.
Oh, that's one of the original ones right there. Oh, now I saw what talking about the Goonies. You've met most of the Goonies.
I've met a few of them. I was actually at a show. God, I guess it was 2 years ago. Or maybe it was last year. I can't remember anymore. It was a show in LA, and it was called Nostalgia Con. And man, they really loaded up on the guests for that show. It was awesome. And Christopher Lloyd was there. Sean Astin, Corey Feldman were there. They just had a ton of people, and I got to talk to those guys there, which was really cool because I had done custom artwork for Corey Feldman and Sean Astin over the years, just online, but I'd never met them before. I messaged with them and kind of put together some stuff for them. So it's kind of cool when you go to one of these shows and they're there and they're set up, and you're kind of like, hey, I'm the guy that worked on this or did that for you. And they remember who you are right away. So that's how I got to meet those guys. And Chunk, I think you showed that picture in the intro. That was from the Goonies celebration in Astoria back for the 30th, which was a blast. So yeah.
I'm gonna do Ron real quick because you kind of went over the movie posters. That's something that you'd always wanted. He wants to know if you've done any book covers, comic book covers, movie posters.
Nothing major. I did do a book cover not too long ago for a guy out here. In fact, I meant to check on that to see where he's at with that. I've done a couple, but nothing. A lot of times I'll do artwork for someone, whether it's like a logo or just like a poster or something, and they'll use it. They'll use it on all kinds of things: T-shirts, posters, book covers, ads, whatever. So it's kind of hard to keep track sometimes. A lot of times I'll just do the artwork and I'll send it off to them, and then it may show up on a book or something. But as far as I know what they mean, as far as like an official book cover, a couple, but nothing, nothing super exciting. I did a film festival poster one time that got used a lot in Fort Myers Beach Film Festival. So stuff like that. Comic books. I've done some custom commission ones before that people, like Garbage Pail Kid ones that people have commissioned me for. But as far as like a mass produced one, I can't say that I've really done any comic book covers. It'd be fun though. I would do it.
Now, Boris says Boris is banned from O'Reilly's for asking for parts to mount machine guns and an oil slick dispenser on the master's car. I want to know why Scott wants machine guns and an oil slick on his car. Probably for a mean producer lady. If you had a chance to go back to the 80s, would you like to illustrate album covers?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that'd be one of the, especially like those old Journey album covers, with the scarabs and that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff's fun. Yeah, I think that'd be great, for sure.
Now, on top of drawing, you're actually into music too.
Yeah, I am. I mean, again, it kind of goes hand in hand with the 80s stuff, but yeah, I am.
Well, because you've done work for like Vince Neil.
Mm-hmm. Which was a huge deal to me. I mean, Motley Crue was like, top of the top for me. So I've done
That's a big deal too. I understand
it. Yeah.
Now, what did you do with Vince Neil?
So basically, I have a friend. His name's Richie. He's actually there in Orlando, and he's in a band. And he had a friend. He called me one time and he said, "Hey, I've got this friend. He needs some custom T-shirts and he needs them right away. He plays guitar." And and I was like, "Okay, send me his info." It turns out that he was the guitar player for Slaughter, and so, which was awesome in itself. His name's Jeff Lando, and I became friends with Jeff. Well, it turns out that I didn't know this beforehand, but it turns out when Vince Neil does his solo stuff, his band is basically Slaughter without the singer. So the drummer, the guitarist, all those guys come over and they play for Vince Neil. So by doing this stuff with Jeff for Slaughter, he's like, well, Vince needs some stuff too. And oh God, so that's when I started doing stuff for Vince Neil, and that's been really cool because every time he does a show, I saw him in Orlando there a time or two, and when he would come to Vegas or whatever, we would go to the shows, and he would get us in backstage and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how I ended up doing stuff for him. So that was kind of that was a big deal.
So what's the music that you jam out to while you're creating?
I kind of discovered not too long ago some of that retro synth stuff. Have you ever listened to any of that stuff? It's the kind of stuff you would hear in the background of like Stranger Things or that kind of stuff. There's a few of these bands out there that have been putting out these just incredibly awesome albums and stuff. I don't listen to a lot of music a lot of times while I'm working. Usually I have the TV going or something like that, but that's kind of like my favorite background stuff is that retro wave stuff is really cool. But yeah, I mean I like alt rock and that kind of stuff.
See, I was trying to lead it into like this picture right here, but
Yep. They would be on there. I mean, I just bought tickets to see them in LA, so hopefully that show will happen.
I was trying to see if I could get into where I could display the picture, and it's like you went totally different than I thought.
Yeah, I didn't segue that one well, did you?
No, usually I can segue them in pretty good, but yeah, you threw me for a loop on that one.
Yeah.
Way to keep him on his toes.
That's right.
Let's see. Boris says your art has such an iconic look. Have you ever been asked to create tattoos for anyone?
All the time. In fact, one of my best friends there in Orlando has been on me forever to do a sea turtle for her. Yeah, I've done quite a bit of stuff for that. People message me all the time. A lot of times it's just people asking if they can use something I've already created, as a tattoo, which of course is fine with me. But yeah, I've got some of my friends have some of the stuff that I've done for them. I get asked about that quite often. So yeah, it's always a kind of an honor.
Now, Ron says, did you say you did work for Stranger Things? Are you still doing work for the series?
Not for the series. I did work for Topps on a sketch card set. I did a bunch of hand-drawn cards that were inserted into packs of trading cards that were released.
Now, here's a Stranger Thing kind of motif. There's
yeah.
Dustin.
Yep. Yeah, so I had the idea to basically take the kids from Stranger Things and just kind of surround them with like all their 80s movie, kind of influences and stuff, and that ended up being a big hit for me. So in fact, that kid that plays Dustin saw this and shared it on his Instagram. That was a pretty wild day. I got a couple thousand followers like instantly from them. So yeah, that's probably my most popular prints right there.
And see, once again, besides having Johnny Five in Bill and Ted's telephone booth, he has the tilt-a-whirl from Explorers.
Very good. A lot of people don't know what that is. Usually when I'm at a convention, people are standing there looking at it. I always put this one up front, dead center on the table, because that's the one that draws people in, and they kind of get a crowd. There's 26 80s movies hidden in there. But that one stumps people a lot, though.
You got batteries not included. But being an 80s kid, I grew up. Explorers was one of my favorite things. That was River Phoenix when he was a fat kid,
Yeah, Ethan Hawke, too. Yeah, I remember seeing that in the theater. I love that movie.
We got, because remember I told you we're over on Twitch too. What is a good collector? From Rudy Cat Rules.
A good collector?
A good collector. Garbage Pail Kids. There we go. That's a good thing to collect. There's money in it. Especially if you can find the artist autograph ones, which I still have never found yet.
Hard to get.
I watch these guys on my Garbage Pail Kid Facebook groups and, oh yeah, look, I went and bought 10 and I got like 20 of them in it. And it's like, yeah. I think you stacked the deck somehow.
Yeah.
And then, I have so many extras. I'll sell them for $100 a piece. And it's like, no, I'll keep trying at $10 a piece.
Yeah.
Let me go down. I was looking. Now because of the artwork and stuff, you've like worked with a lot of famous people, correct?
Uh, Quite a few, a lot of hair bands and stuff, which is my favorite anyway. Yeah, I've been able to work with some pretty cool people for sure.
Well, I know one. We got thanks for the input, helpful. Now I know one, and this is the one that Trish has been going crazy once she found out that you knew him. Adam Goldberg.
Yes, yeah, Adam's awesome. So I met Adam because he is a Garbage Pail Kid fanatic, and of course, being named Adam, he collects Atom Bomb stuff. So I had done some commissions for him on some sketch cards and stuff that he bought. Kind of met him through that way, just messaging back and forth on Facebook and stuff. And of course, he's obviously, into all the big 80s stuff that I'm into and that kind of thing. What happened was I had done a bunch of Goonies themed art, like the ones that you were showing earlier. And I did one that was like a Mama Fratelli. I don't know if I sent you that one or not. The Mona Lisa. It was like a Mama Fratelli. Yeah. I had that.
That's so cool.
And I had that online, and a bunch of people were commenting on it. And I got a message from Adam, and he said, "So you're a big Goonies fan?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And he's like, "Well, I am too." And then as we got to talking, he tells me, he says, "Well, because you may have seen an article about this, but I've been secretly working on my own sequel to the Goonies for like 9 years. I've been working on this thing forever." And we got to talking, and he said, "Yeah, this is my passion project. And, I work on it whenever I can. I'm really proud of this." And he goes, "I really would love to have like a true Goonies fan read this and give me their feedback." And I was like, "Okay," so he said only a couple people have read this. He goes, and so he emailed it to me, and I remember checking my emails like crazy for like 2 days, and it finally came through. And I was like, I remember we were in Vegas, and I was like, "Okay, everyone, leave me alone. I got to read this." So I read it like 3 times. It was great. It was really awesome what he did with it. And so I wrote him back, and I wrote him like this really long email. And I was super honest. I was like, "This is awesome. Maybe you should add this, or what if this?" And, kind of gave him like some really good feedback. Really intricate, type of stuff that a fan would pick up on. And he was real receptive to it. And I think he even changed a little bit of it to fit what I suggested, which was like super cool. But the more I was talking to him about it, he's telling me that he was all set to have a pitch for his story to Richard Donner and some of the Warner Brothers execs, and then COVID hit and it got pushed back, and that was during the time I was talking to him, and he said, "Well, I'm still gonna try and set something up with those guys." And so I was kind of like, as an artist, I was like, "Well, it would be really cool if you had some custom art during your presentation, to kind of show with your story." And he's like, "Yeah, that would be really cool." So that's what those were from. So he had me work those up. And there's another one I did that I'm not really kind of allowed to share because it's kind of like the finale of his story. But he went and he ended up having his meeting with them. He ended up just doing like a Zoom meeting with them. From what I heard, they loved it. It went really well. I'm not sure if he's really got a green light on it yet. I know Richard Donner's like in his 90s. And,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have kind of figured Richard Donner would be doing it anyway. I think it's more of just trying to get his blessing, for him to pass the torch on to someone else. And Adam's the guy to do it for sure. So I know he's still working on it. I know he's like super passionate about it. But yeah, that's kind of how I know him. He was started with the Garbage Pail Kid stuff. But yeah. So yeah, hopefully, we'll see what happens. May never happen. I know there's gonna be a lot of haters. Whether if it does happen. But
Haters for everything.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Ron says that was a wonderful parody of Mama right there.
Oh, thanks.
And then Boris asks, outside of Back to the Future, what are your top 5 80 films?
Oh my God, top 5. Stand By Me is definitely up there.
Yes.
Of course, The Goonies. Gremlins has got to be up there. God, this is tough. Caught me off guard with that. Princess Bride's probably up there, pretty far.
I was gonna say it better be.
Yeah. God, I don't know. And sometimes I take a left turn and I'm like, oh, Nightmare on Elm Street's pretty awesome. I don't know. I could talk 80s all night. E.T. has got to be. Yeah, that's probably at the top. I don't know. It's hard. Yeah, that's the first real movie I remember seeing as a kid. So that one's always been kind of a special one to me. So.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that one in the theater.
Oh yeah.
I remember. I even remember crying when E.T. died.
I did too.
Oh,
I was like 6. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. We were young. E.T. died.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, and I mean, I've been to like where they filmed all that, and like I'm one of those guys. Like I'm way into it, so that's a big hobby of mine too.
Well, see, one of the things that you've drawn is one of my favorite movies from the '80s.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, let me come off of Boris's question too. The Last Starfighter. That is one of my favorites. And we actually have a convention here in Florida called Free Play Florida. It's all video games, pinball machines, all that kind of stuff. And they actually built the Last Starfighter for that convention.
Oh, cool.
So I've actually got to play the Last Starfighter.
Nice. Yeah, that is one of the very first movie I remember seeing on the VHS. And my sister was one of the first people that she got a VCR player and brought it over with that movie. And being a little kid, I'd never heard of it. I didn't know anything about it. We sat down to watch this movie, and they popped that in there, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is great!" So, yeah, that's a great movie. I'm really kind of surprised that hasn't been redone yet. Not that it needs to, but with all the
I don't think it gets enough love. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it's one of the first movies that really incorporated CGI and stuff, animation into a live action movie like that. Which if you go back and watch it now, it looks like it, but you got to make that leap. I thought it was pretty great.
I just had a cosmic thought. I'm sorry. I think all the people who love the '80s moved to Florida. That's why we have so much stuff going on.
Oh, that's why we have so many conventions and everything.
It's gotta be what it is.
But he moved to California.
I know he's missing out.
Well, he did live in Florida for a minute.
See?
I did go there first. Yes.
Okay. See, we have nothing bad about California. We have a lot of friends out there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was gonna go. Here's another one of your Goonies. For some reason, when I was uploading it, everything didn't go where it's supposed to go.
Oh yeah.
That was
like
one
that
of them that I was showing it to Trish last night, and it's like, oh, just the detail in that is so awesome.
Yeah,
love it.
Sloth.
True. I'm trying to make sure I kind of show all the pictures that you sent, so we don't leave anything out.
Yeah, I sent you a couple dozen, I think.
And when you're talking about Gremlins as one of your favorite, I love that right there. That was just so great.
Yeah.
Now, is that on disc also?
That one's not. The other one that I sent you, that's more of like a horizontal one. Yeah, that one. That one was a disc that I let somebody else print, and I'm thinking of having it done myself because they sold out of them like immediately. I kind of like to get my hands on some of them. So
It's on eBay right now for like $150. If you just in case you want to know.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on that. But, I mean, I have a few of them, but I'd like to do another run of those.
Oops, you can ask him the question you would ask him.
Yeah, I can ask him. And I kind of told you I was going to ask you this question. Do you ever go on eBay and type your name in to see what's out there?
I do quite often.
I would do the same thing.
Well, I have my own Etsy store, and I put a lot of my stuff in there. And so sometimes for me, it helps. I'll go on eBay and see like what people are asking for certain things to kind of give me an idea, because I don't want to post the same thing on my store for half the price, because it'll be on eBay, the next night. I've had that happen quite a few times where I've sold stuff. If I put out like a disc and someone buys like 4 or 5 of them, I know that they're heading straight to eBay as soon as they open them.
And then you realize how bad you undercut yourself.
Yeah, so you have to kind of be careful because I don't want to list stuff up just for someone else to flip it like a day later. But at the same time, I don't want to go way overboard either and be like, oh, my stuff's worth this much, or so eBay's kind of a good way to kind of gauge. Plus, it's fun to see stuff that you did years ago. And, oh, that's where that is. It's over in Detroit, or you work on these sketch cards and they end up all over the world and stuff. So it's kind of fun.
Now, kind of going towards that, how does it make you feel like somebody gets a commission done from you and you spend the time and you make it, you send it off, and it turns around and it's on eBay within like days of you sending it off? How does that make you feel?
I'm not really mad about it, but it is annoying. I had a guy buy, in fact, it was that print, that Atom Bomb print that you had up. And someone asked for it, and he goes, "Hey, could you do like a little custom little sketch with like a silver Sharpie down in the corner and sign it and stuff?" And I'm thinking this guy's, I've recognized him from some of the groups. I'm like, "Oh, he's a collector." No problem. And I sent it off, and like you said, I go on eBay like 2 nights later, and there it is, and it's for like $250. And I sold it to the guy for like $20 or something like that. And I'm like, he ended up selling it, for close to that price. And I'm just like, I mean, it's not a big deal, but at the same time, sometimes you do feel like you're trying to do something nice for somebody so they have it in their collection. But, it's in someone else's collection, so it's fine. But,
so somebody's appreciating it.
Yeah, somebody's got it and likes it, so it's fine. It's just I didn't get the money for it, but no big deal.
Well, it's like a friend of ours, and it just hit me when you said it. A friend of ours said one time he walked into a comic book store, and the manager had to take pictures with him, and he saw us about maybe 10 minutes after he walked out of the comic book store. He looked at us. He's like, "It's probably up on eBay already," And it's like, me and Trish being somebody who isn't popular and all that, so we don't understand if it's annoying that everything that you do goes up on eBay, or not everything, a lot of stuff, I'll say.
Yeah, a lot of it does, but all that really means is that it is something that people collect. I mean, the bottom line is that's kind of the goal. It'll end up in somebody's collection. Somebody will like it, but it's kind of I see both sides of it. It's kind of annoying at first when you first see it. Even right now, if you go on there and you'll see a bunch of my discs and stuff that I may have sold for $30 and they're selling them for $300. And it's just like, but then again, it doesn't mean somebody's going to pay that for it either. So I think some wishful thinking going on eBay, but yeah, it can be.
After maybe 5 or 6 of them, at least 2 of them are with somebody who actually appreciates it.
Yeah, and it'll go somewhere, and it'll show up on Facebook in someone's collection. That's kind of always cool. I mean, it's kind of become the goal and something I really enjoy, working on things that people actually collect. Like those Back to the Future figures were really cool. That was just one job I did for somebody, but now I'm in a lot of these Facebook groups for Back to the Future when people are showing like these big display cases of their collections of all their Back to the Future stuff. I get to see something I did in there with that collection, and that's kind of cool. So, that's kind of become the goal. It's fun, knowing that your stuff is in people's collections is cool. So,
now looking behind you, you have a hell of a collection behind you.
Yeah, I've got some stuff, and this is my new office I just set up in here. So, I've got boxes of 80s toys and lunch boxes and all kinds of crap that I don't really have that much room to put anymore. So.
I'm gonna put you on solo layout so everybody can kind of see.
Yeah, there's some stuff in there. There's some Garbage Pail Kids.
Is that an E.T. video game up on top?
Yes, it is. This one here.
Yep.
That one escaped the landfill.
Yeah, I have to laugh
That's like the ultimate
to get that game, because we actually have that game too.
Yep.
My daughter had to. We were at a convention, and my daughter had to pick it up. She's like, "It's not in the landfill. I gotta have it." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, there was like an arcade museum. I don't know if it's still there. It was in Daytona, and they had like 1 million pinball machines and stuff in there. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, they have a little museum up in the front. They had some of the stuff out of that landfill. I remember seeing the ET with the damaged discs and stuff that were part of that Roswell, or not Roswell. To me, everything in New Mexico is Roswell, but part of that New Mexico dig, it was really kind of cool. So.
Let's go back to the comments real quick. E.T. didn't die. The Predator got him.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't have cried if the Predator got him.
Yeah.
And Ron Alan Dean Foster did a novelization of The Last Starfighter. When I was a kid, I thought the book came first, but I think it was vice versa in this case.
Could be.
I love The Last Starfighter, and I agree it was an underrated. Any film that has somebody in a low position in society elevate to a high position appeals to me. Yep, because he was trailer trash.
It was. That's true.
Are you working full-time as an artist for a company in California in addition to doing commissions, freelancing?
I do not work for anybody anymore, just myself. So I left that company in Florida a couple years ago. I started my own freelance company. I call it Sunburn Designs. And that's all I do around the clock. So I work with a lot of t-shirt companies around the country. Everything from car show designs to restaurants, bars, events, that kind of thing. I do the disc golf stuff and I've been really lucky. I don't advertise or anything. It's just all kind of the word of mouth and, all the stuff from Tops and, every collector type thing like the Tops or the disc golf stuff has within it, people that always want commissions and stuff. So that's just a steady flow of freelance work, really. So yeah, it's kind of nice. I don't work for anybody but me.
Well, you work for your wife. You know that.
Wife and daughter. Oh yeah, I love it.
And Boris wants to know, have you done one piece of art which made you say, this is definitely my favorite?
There's been a couple that I've really been kind of fond of. One of them, I think I sent it to you, was a piece that I did that was used in that movie Kung Fury. Are you familiar with Kung Fury?
Yes.
It's the laser unicorn.
Yep, there it is. Right there.
That
Boom.
one was kind of cool just because of what it was, and it actually got used. It's my only movie credit. So that one's probably one of my favorites just because it's so 80s.
Because it was on the video game, right?
Yeah, it was on the side of the arcade game.
Yeah.
And, I actually did art for the sequel, which has yet to come out. I'm hoping it will come out at all because I heard they're wrapped up in some sort of litigation with one of the financing companies behind it or something. But the sequel, they got Schwarzenegger and some other people in that, so they've been working on that. But they contacted me about doing some art for it, and I did. That was like over a year ago, so hopefully that one will even see the light of day. But I guess we'll wait and see.
And Ron says, awesome. I'm glad to hear you're working for yourself, basically.
Yep. Yeah, it's good. It's good and bad. On one hand, it kind of sucks because it never ends. There's no punching out at 5 o'clock and going and doing something else. There's always stuff hanging over me. But at the same time, if it ever did dry up, I'd be out of a job. So,
So I'm going to use this as another segue. What do you do on free time if you have much free time?
So I'm trying to figure out if you're trying to lead into another picture I sent you.
I don't know. No, I wasn't. So
Okay. My daughter's 12. I play with her constantly. We play a lot of Fortnite and that kind of stuff. I suck. She's great at it. Exploring around out here, since we moved to Southern California, there's just so much out here. Probably one of my favorite things to do is I like to go check out where movies were filmed, movie locations. I've got a ton of those on my Facebook, kind of then and now.
See, and I saw those on. That's why I was because I saw what you do on Facebook, because I like how you have the little picture down here from the movie and what you're standing at.
Yeah, and a lot of them are from stuff that we've talked about tonight. Last Starfighter, Goonies, Back to the Future stuff, all this kind of thing. So,
Okay. So I'm trying to find out what picture you sent me. Did I miss another one of putting up here? Did you send me a picture about one of those?
I don't think I think I just sent you artwork.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say you didn't send me. It's like, oh man, did I screw up again?
No, there's an album on my Facebook that's got like 300 of those pictures in there from Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump and all these different places. But yeah, as far as hobbies go, I mean, I work so much these days. I really don't have time to do much else. But luckily, I love what I do. So I guess my hobby and my job are kind of one and the same.
Well, yeah, I saw all those with the picture and the location stuff, and I saw you get, like I told you, I saw you get your daughter involved in it. I just those when it comes to the pictures of the kids, I don't put any of that kind of stuff up on the page because I don't want to get in trouble with you.
I've had to kind of stop doing that too. My wife kind of put her foot down on that because I've got a ton of friends and people on there, that are like people that collect my stuff. They're not people I really know. I just people I kind of chat with sometimes. But yeah, my wife kind of put her foot down on that, so you won't see that many pictures of my daughter on my Facebook anymore.
Yeah, and it's nothing. I have kids myself, and it's like, you know what? And a couple of those pictures, because like I said, I stalk you for the intro video, so I can put little, cute little things, and it's like, oh man, that's a cool one, but he has his daughter with him. I can't put that one up.
Yeah, I appreciate that because I'd probably get in trouble for that.
Don't want that.
No, don't want that.
No.
But I do that with everybody. It's like, oh, this is such a cool picture, but the kids are there. I might throw one with the wife on there because it's not as bad, but
yeah.
Oh, another one of your artwork.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas story.
Yeah, I'd been wanting to do that one for a long time. Of course, as soon as I had to kind of pick and choose Christmas Vacation or Christmas Story. I want to do both. So, of course, I start with that one. Everyone's like, well, where's the Christmas Vacation one? So I'll try and do that for next year.
But I don't see the flag. Oh, there it is. No, I don't see the flagpole. I thought.
It's the yellow ball in the top right.
Is it?
See his tongue stuck to it. My watermark name kind of runs across.
Your watermark's right there. Yeah, I can't really tell. Okay.
Yeah, I had to start watermarking stuff because I was getting ripped off left and right. It's kind of like I hate doing that because I feel like it ruins the art. But
that was going to be another question of mine, as how many times you found, because we are friends with a lot of artists, and I'll see a post come through. Oh yeah, this person's saying my artwork is theirs and selling it for this much. And
yeah, I mean, what usually happens is I'll get tagged in something on Facebook and I'll go click it and it's like, oh my God, there's one time someone took my Goonies artwork and was making shower curtains out of it. It's like, really? Shower curtains? Like, but it's also kind of fun because I've had a few times where that's happened. There's some company, I don't know if they have a name or what they're called, but they pop up all the time with like, prints that you can buy. And you can tell it's the same company because it's always the same little setup against like a white brick wall with like a frame. And you can tell that they just drop in different artwork. And they're just pulling it off people's sites. I don't know if they're overseas or where they are, but I've had that happen a couple times. And I just put something on my Facebook about, hey guys, feel free to go over to this site and let them know what you think about stolen artwork. And there's like a whole army of people that will just go over there and bombard them and give them 1-star ratings, and, kind of mess with them.
Nice.
So the way those companies operate, it's usually like a 24-hour thing where they can't be caught. They take orders for an hour and then they move on to something else. So there's really not one person you can contact or track down. It's really weird. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, that's all they do is they steal people's artwork. It's pretty annoying.
Well, not just artwork, because we had one of our cosplay friends who somebody took one of his pictures because he's the true Aquaman, and they actually put him on a shower curtain.
Oh, gee. Shower curtains are big business. I don't know.
Well, you know what? He got a kick out of it. He bought one of them, got it sent to him, and now at the conventions, that's his backdrop.
Oh,
it's
nice.
the shower curtain.
Well, that works.
Ron says he just got some signed photos from one of the minor characters from A Christmas Story, the actor who played the toady to Scott Farkas.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, what we just met the kid who got his tongue stuck to the flag.
Scott Schwartz, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got to meet him at one of the conventions out here.
Yep, I've met him. He's a nice guy. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I think I gave him a few of those prints actually.
Now, you know what? Next time, because he's coming back to a show here in next month, I'm gonna actually see if the prints are there.
They might be. He, I think it's his dad actually. He runs a memorabilia store in LA. I've always meant to swing in there and see if he's there. And, it's just an entire store full of signed, memorabilia type stuff. So I'm gonna check that out one day.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I always know him. Whenever I think of him, I think of the toy. That was a great movie. Another one that would absolutely not be made today, but that was a great movie when I was a kid.
Exactly. Boris says someone used pictures of Boris in an ad for birth control.
Okay.
Whatever works, Boris. No, because he was even in Kidco.
Yeah, Kidco.
See, you can tell I lived in the 80s too.
Okay,
So.
I remember watching that on HBO when I was little.
But see, and I like how he casually says, "Oh yeah, I know him. We're Facebook buddies. I send him stuff." Oh, nonchalantly. That's why. Going back to what I said a few half hour ago or so, a lot of people.
I reach out to a lot of people. We'll just put it that way.
So when I reach out to people now, can I say we're friends with Michael Barnard?
Of course.
Yeah.
Right.
They may not have any idea who you're talking about, but that's
I'm trying to go through and see if there was any of the artwork we hadn't. Well, I don't think I put that one up.
Yeah, that's a popular one. I send a lot of that one overseas. That must be a big movie. A lot of those prints go to Germany. They must love it over there.
Now, see, after the last season of Stranger Things, this should have became really.
Yeah. They may have charted that song again for a little while. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, because we were coming home one night and it's playing on the radio. Me and Trish are both just sitting there. Turned up the volume as we're sitting in the driveway. Rolled down the windows.
Yeah.
They can turn on their bass. We turn on the never-ending story.
Boris says the line was, "Don't let this happen to you. Use birth control, or even better, just abstain."
He's still on the birth control thing.
Now, I also see you're a big Star Wars fan.
I am. Oh yeah. Yep, love Star Wars. I did those for Discraft. They commissioned me for four of those designs, and Disney's pretty much a nightmare to work with and that kind of stuff. But it was cool. It was worth it.
Our other friend Scott doesn't know anything about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done quite a bit of stuff with Lucasfilm, and it's always fun.
But see, I like on this one right here. I love how the energy coming from his hands that stands out over everything in that picture to me.
Yeah.
Now you say you just do digital art?
I mostly work digital just because of the industry that I'm in. I had to kind of make that leap at one point. It's funny, I talk to a lot of artists and stuff, and sometimes people will say, "Oh, my kid wants to be an artist," or can you talk to him, or what advice do you have? And I always tell them, go digital. You can play around with acrylics and any of that kind of stuff anytime you want, but learn the digital stuff because it opens so many doors. But yeah, that's 95% of what I do now. It didn't start out that way. I went to a very traditional art school, with the figure painting and the anatomy classes and all that kind of stuff. I kind of went kicking and screaming, but once I did it, there's no going back.
Well, now I was reading the back of collector's card, and this was actually on eBay. I was looking at it, it says that you knew you were going to be an artist in the womb.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You didn't have no digital artwork there.
No, but I knew I wanted to be an artist. I'd always wanted to be an artist. Yeah. I don't know. The digital stuff just, once you get comfortable with it, it just it's so much faster, and it's, the t-shirt designs and the stuff that I do for companies now, even if I was doing them by hand, at some point I would have to scan them in and get them files in some way so they could actually use them. So I know a lot of these guys that do the sketch cards and that kind of stuff, and some of these guys they're so good and they're so talented, and they just kind of hit that wall though. They're struggling because they're not doing digital stuff, and it is intimidating. And if I hadn't landed that job there in Ormond where I kind of was forced to learn it, I'd probably be stuck there too. I had to learn it because that's all they would use.
Now, do you still got some of your pre-digital artwork around the house?
I'm sure. I'm sure I do. Yeah, I probably have some around here somewhere.
See, eBay it. I mean, you can make it. I'm looking. You can make a lot of money.
Actually, one of the discs that I did, I just happened to have the original hand-drawn sketch because I was up in Ohio visiting family when I got the job, and I didn't have my computer, so I sketched it by hand. And one day I found that in a notebook, and I was like, oh, I threw it on my page. I think I sold that little tiny sketch for like $100. So,
Damn.
Maybe you're onto something. One of the things I do a lot is when people buy the discs, they like to have a Sharpie sketch put on the back of them. So I do a lot of those. In fact, I'm backed up right now. I've got a guy waiting on like 20 of them. I have to sit down and draw. But those are, it is fun to take a break from the digital stuff every once in a while. But that's definitely my comfort zone is the digital stuff for sure. So,
now, before we go to Ron's question, do you have like like how you said people ask you to do something? Do you have like a trademark doodle that you do, or
not really?
I say trademark, but I mean like a common that's what you do on every single one. Like know how like Eastman does a turtle and all that. And,
no, I don't really have anything specific on it. I don't really do enough of it to have one.
Oh, come on. Somebody's asking for 20 of them, so you got
Well, he wants he's one of my collector friends that buys up, a couple discs every time I put one out. It's, they'll say, oh, I want to add a sketch to it. And I say, well, I'll put it in the pile. It's going to take a while, because then, I don't know. I end up with a bunch of them, and I have to put aside blocks of time for hours and hours to sit one night. It's just hard to get away from my regular work to do stuff like that. But at some point, hopefully very soon, I'm going to get these to him, and he'll end up with a huge box in the mail, and hopefully they won't end up on eBay like we were talking about. So we'll see.
Now, Ron wants to know, ever thought of doing a Garbage Pail Kid version of yourself?
No, I've seen some of the other guys do it. Not a bad idea.
Well, what would you call yourself?
Oh my God. I don't know. I'm sure I could come up with something good. I have to decide just how much I want to make fun of myself. But I get asked a lot from people. I get a lot of requests to turn me into a Garbage Pail Kid. That's always fun.
It would be fun, but I would be like, oh, that's really what he thinks of me?
Yeah, you do have to kind of walk that line and be like, well, do I really want to exaggerate that part of them? Or, So I usually tell them, like, what are you into? What do you like? And then give me as many details as you can, and then I just kind of work that into the artwork. They usually love it.
Let's see. Ron says, as an author, I like horrible puns at times. With your name, I keep thinking of a bull-like Garbage Pail Kid with the name Michael Barnard.
I like it.
A humanoid bull that is clutching his neutered middle in front of a classic red barn. Kind of like a young minotaur, but as Donkey from Shrek 2 would say, having received the Bob Barker treatment.
Wow, that is very specific.
Very detailed.
People would say, is there something you're trying to tell me with that one? I think if I did one of myself, it would probably have to, it would definitely be an '80s themed something or other. But you know, my the Barnards is pretty good. I like that.
How about Live Mike? That's you, right?
Live Mike. There you go. Yep. Yep. There's my Jack Daniels.
Yep, right down there.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed. Now, do you redraw some of the older characters?
That's what that was. When I was talking earlier about how I had taken like 10 of the characters and kind of just did my own version of them with my own colors and my own style. That's pretty much what those were from.
I didn't know if Top say, "Hey, we're redoing some from we're doing the '96 run."
I
we
wish
want your take on it.
I wish they would do that. They do kind of recycle the same characters over and over and over again, doing different things. I'd love to see them do sort of like an artist series where they just kind of turned artists loose and said, "Hey, do your own version of these characters," and then they actually printed cards of them. I think that would be awesome. But I don't know what they're thinking either sometimes.
Ron says, "No, it isn't personal. I hope I did not offend you. I tend to go with the weird with puns. I'm glad that you like the Barnard's pun at least."
No, I love all of them. I don't get offended. That's awesome.
He's an '80s kid. He doesn't get offended.
Yeah, I don't get offended.
So I'm going to ask you a couple standard questions. Comics. Do you read comics?
I don't really read comics. It's funny because as an artist, I feel like I should have that in my background. I just never really did. They weren't. I don't know. I have an older brother and 3 older sisters, but I don't know. I just never got into comics really. I don't have anything against them. I just never really read them. And it's funny, like with all these Marvel movies that come out and stuff, it's like a lot of it's just brand new to me. I don't know anything about them. I don't know the history. Everyone's all excited. Oh, they're gonna have so and so in the next movie, and I'm like, okay, yeah. And I love it, but I don't know anything about it. So I really don't have a big comic book background at all.
But see, that's a good thing because you get to experience it through the movie and you don't get disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, I was like, I had no idea that was based off something pre-existing. I had no clue. I loved it. But I will say, in place of comic books, what I did have was Mad Magazine, and that was a big influence on me. I've got a stack, like that I inherited from my older brother, from when I still have them. I loved Mad Magazine, Cracked, all that stuff like that. That was
you will remember Cracked. You try to talk to people. Oh yeah, I read Mad and Cracked, and they're like, "What's Cracked?" Like,
it was one of yeah, it wasn't as good as Mad, but it was okay. I mean, as a kid, it was it was good. There was another one too. I can't remember what it was called. It was like a wannabe one. I have 1 or 2 of the issues, and I can't remember what it was. But yeah, Mad and Cracked were like the best, and that's one of those things. Even today, if I see a Mad magazine, I know they kind of stopped them. Sometimes you'll see an issue and I need to check that. And it's just the best. The artwork in those is just top notch. I always thought that was like the cover art they use, the full color stuff on the front was just like awesome. So
you gotta say the back page was awesome too because you folded to come up with a whole new.
Oh yeah.
To me, that's like a true artist because you're doing 2 in 1.
Yeah. I always wanted to.
You're not a true artist, though.
No, I know what you're saying. I always wanted to do that as a like a T-shirt design. Fold it over, do the artwork, open it up, and then fill in the rest, and do that as an actual T-shirt where people could take the T-shirt and close it up to make something else. I might have to rethink that for a future project.
Ron, since you didn't like comics, were there certain books you liked? Mad Magazine was great, by the way. Also like Cracked. I write satire and parodies and love those magazines.
Certain books, not particularly. My wife always makes fun. I mean, my favorite book growing up is Where the Red Fern Grows. I remember my teacher reading that to us. I love that story. My daughter's reading it right now. You know, not a huge reader either. I mean, I really wasn't. I don't know. I'm one of those people. In fact, now I'd probably get diagnosed with something. But like, I always felt like when I would read books, like I would get a couple pages in, and I would just. I'm a thinker. You know, my mind would wander off to something else. Next thing I know, like 5 pages have gone by, and I'm not paying attention. I'm like, you know, so I don't know. It's just. I think, and I'm at a point now in my life where I stare at a monitor for 10 to 12 hours a day. So, you know, I just. Picking up books and reading stuff, it just, I don't know.
But see, I did that in the 80s. I spent that whole time watching cartoons and TV for 10 to 12 hours at a time, you know, so.
Yeah.
Ron, the Goonies folding map was supposed to be based on a Mad Magazine fold-in.
I've heard that too. That's pretty awesome.
And I'm a Southern guy who grew up in a rural area, so Where the Red Fern Grows appealed to me.
Yeah, that's a great story.
So is there any like upcoming movies that you're like itching to see?
I feel like, you know, with the way everything's going right now, it's like I don't know what's in production, like what's not. Like everything seems to be on hold. I can't really think of anything now. I mean, it's like Star Wars is done for a while, and like you know, I'm trying to think if there's anything that I'm kind of looking forward to. Not really, which is kind of odd. I usually always have something on the horizon.
See, now I'm kind of disappointed in him. I was hoping he'd say Kong vs. Godzilla.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
See, because then that just puts you at the top of the tier, you know. But
yeah, that'd be cool. I'll watch.
You know how well you are with segues tonight.
yeah, I'm not good. Well, no, I just wanted to see. I was hoping, you know, so I could elevate him up there. Now Boris took the lead again.
Ooh, that's mean.
But no, that's about the only movie I'm actually looking forward to is Godzilla vs. Kong. But
Yeah.
I'm also a fan of the original back in the 70s. So
Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, you hear about them working on like a new Matrix and stuff like that. I mean, I'm curious to see like how that kind of thing will go. I don't know, it just kind of sucks. I mean, everything's going to HBO Max and everything just so these studios don't lose money on them. I'm hoping we can get back to big theatrical releases at some point. They won't be the same.
yeah, but I'm going to tell you, I have HBO Max, so I actually like it better. because you know this because you're working at home, you have your office here, boom. I have my TV right there, so I can actually turn on the movie and catch it. We're actually going to the theater. It's like, no, you know, I'm busy, I'm doing stuff here, you know.
Yeah, or you don't have to deal with people.
that too.
Ruining movies.
Well, some of the theaters out here allow you to drink in them now, so that's more appealing to me.
Yeah, you can eat dinner. And there was one they put up in Daytona there. You could order pizza and beer and everything else. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, we have a couple of those in Orlando, but the new movie theater that they put on has a bar in it, and you go in there. They have reclining seats and everything. You watch people actually go in with blankets and stuff so they can fall asleep. It's like, why are you paying $50 to come see this movie to fall asleep?
Fall asleep. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's not cheap, that's for sure.
Ron says Raya and the Last Dragon is supposed to come out tomorrow on Disney Plus. I think probably an extra premium price. I think it'll be in cinemas too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one actually looks good, but I don't pay the premium. It's like I already pay like $15 a month for it, so I'll wait a couple months till it becomes free.
Yeah.
Now, you have your daughter. What do you and your daughter do? That's like daddy-daughter time.
Lately it's been Fortnite. You know, I haven't played a lot of video games in years. She's got the Switch and the Xbox, and she's got all the good stuff. So that's kind of become her thing. So I started trying to play that with her. Of course, I suck at it, but it's fun. It's fun to play with her. I do everything with her. I mean, we're homeschooling her right now. And of course, COVID's going on anyway, so she's, I'm here. So she's here with me all day, every day, and we do everything together. So, as soon as it warms up, we'll be out in the pool, and she likes me to take her camping, and pretty much everything. She's my little mini me. So,
Hey, that's cool. And if you do good, and I'll tell you, because my little girl is now 22 years old, and we still do like Legos together and stuff like that. We still hang out.
We do Legos. We do. She's kind of getting to that age now where she's moving past some of the little toys that I used to sit on the floor and play with her. So it's been kind of fun seeing her get into different stuff. So I just try and stay up on it with her, whatever she's into. I'm cool with. So we watch movies and we drive all over. We take a lot of road trips together. I think we'll drive into Ohio this summer. So.
See, that's one of those 4-letter states. Nothing good comes from a 4-letter state. Oh, wait, you did. Okay, never mind.
Watch yourself.
I know. Ron says, did you see Finding Ohana on Netflix, which someone said was the Goonies in Hawaii? I did recently, and it was pretty good.
I haven't. I've seen some of it. I don't know. Did you watch it?
I just saw the trailer, and me and Trish both looked at each other and said, Goonies. It looks almost, from the trailer, it looked like it was all like Goonies.
Yeah, I think it even has data in it. My wife was watching it one day, so I caught some of it, and I don't know. I'm sure I'll break down and watch it at some point, but it's hard to watch something like that when the entire time you're just judging it based on something else. And,
Agreed.
A lot of people seem to like it, though. I mean, a lot of people in the Goonies groups and stuff were talking about it. They all said it was pretty cool with a lot of nods to the Goonies. It's not like they were trying to knock it off and not acknowledging it. Like there's stuff all the way through it that is supposed to be direct Goonie references. So I'm sure I'll check it out. I just haven't yet.
So a nice homage to the Goonies.
Yeah.
And Ron wants to know, were you able to go to Disneyland before COVID hit? I'm not sure how long you've been in South Carolina. Have you heard about the Corgi, the South Cal Corgi event? That's a tongue twister right there.
So I've been to Disney World 10,000 times, but Disneyland I've never actually been to. So we've only been out here since last fall, which was right when everything was shut down. We've been dying to go to Knott's Berry Farm. If we go anywhere, that's probably where we'll go. We did go to Universal Studios a few times last summer, which was awesome. But no, I haven't done Disneyland, but I'm sure we will. Corgi, what was it? Corgi something?
South
SoCal
Corgi event.
I don't know anything about that. I guess, is that a dog show thing for Corgis?
Corgi. Well, Ron is an author, and he has a book series about a corgi, Ziggy. And I'm probably saying the wrong thing, and I'm not having a good night on referencing, so I believe it's Ziggy, but I'm probably wrong. But he's an author of corgi books.
Okay, cool.
They have a bunch of they have a bunch of corgis and owners gather at the beach near.
Oh wow! Now I bet my daughter would love that though. Yeah, there's so much stuff down here. I love it.
Aren't they so small they could go out with the tide?
They could probably get washed out pretty easily.
I say woohoo! Yes, it's Ziggy. I had it right.
You're right.
Good job tonight.
Ziggy Zags and the light and dark fantastic.
Nice.
I forgot what we were talking about because we kind of got talking about corgis and beaches and
we were talking about Goonies knockoffs and
Goonies knockoffs. So you said you do the TV in the background while you're working. Anything in particular?
God, I've seen everything at this point. For a long time, I would just put the news on, just to kind of good background stuff. you know, a lot of Netflix now. I love a lot of the murder stuff, the serial killer documentaries, that kind of stuff's interesting. I'll binge shows, Breaking Bad, like that kind of stuff. I'll just put on and let it go all the way through. Like I said, I spend a lot of time in this chair at this computer, so TV's on constantly. So nothing particular.
Trust me, I totally understand, because when we come home from our day jobs, we're here doing everything for this show, for Orlando Collector Deviants, for Olo. Shameless plug, by the way. And so we usually have like Food Network going on in the background while we're going, and it's like, oh, who's beating Bobby Flay this time? Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of South Park and Family Guy that go on here. That kind of stuff. So a lot of stuff I've seen before, but it never gets old to me. So
let's see. Have any major hints been dropped about the release of the date for the Goonies sequel? I know you mentioned it.
No. I mean, at this point, I don't even know that it's a definite go. I mean, it's definitely not. It would be at the very, very earliest parts of production, if anything, right now. So I think even if it happened, we'd be looking at a couple of years from now. I mean, honestly, if it even happened, I'm not gonna.
It's still, as far as you know, it's still just in discussion, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, they're just trying to get the green light on it. So it would be way off if anything. I'll be amazed if it even actually happens. But the right guy's working on it, and he's talking to the right people. So it's definitely closer than it's ever been if it is going to happen. So. See.
Michael, was it your dream project other than Goonies sequel poster? Or what is your, I'm going to say that might be a typo. What is your other dream? What is your dream project other than the Goonies sequel? See, I knew that was going to be a typo.
God. Again, I'm working on something right now I wish I could talk about, and I can't because it's up there. And it's with a company that I've been trying to get on board with for years. So it's not the greatest answer, but you'll find out in a few months. I am working on pretty much a dream job right now. Other than that, I love working on stuff for some of the rock bands and stuff. I've been able to get my foot in the door and do the Vince Neil stuff. Doing something for Motley Crue, like an official Motley Crue design, would be awesome. Green Day, stuff like that. Some of my favorite stuff. That's the stuff I enjoy the most.
I saw your Motley Crue Garbage Pail Kid crossover. I love that.
I have two of them, actually. I've got the Snot at the Devil, and then I've got the Dr. Feelgood one that I did not too long ago.
I didn't see that. I saw the Snot at the Devil.
Yeah.
But it's like, that is so awesome.
Yeah, those are fun. But yeah, my dream jobs, I've been really lucky. I've worked on a lot of officially licensed stuff that, I still can't believe. So I feel like I've done a lot of them. As far as a dream job would go, yeah, I mean, it's just working on stuff for like my favorite bands and that kind of stuff. So, you never know. I mean, I get emails every other day, and sometimes they lead to really good stuff. So,
I can't imagine how many emails you get. I mean, and you have to weed through it and see what's what. And
yeah, well, the last year has been crazy with my Etsy store, when I sell stuff, because I get a notification every time something goes through. So that's become the biggest part of weeding through my emails. I almost need to set up a separate email just for that stuff. So there's a lot. There's a lot to
link to his Etsy store. Yep. That way we can bog him down some more.
Oh, okay.
Now, Trish, I've been having Trish put up the links to like all your stuff. That way they know where they can go look at all your stuff.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
And Ron wants to know, when do you think you can announce the project? Awesome about the potential for band covers and posters, etc.
The project that I was talking about that's a secret?
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not allowed to say anything until they actually release this thing. And I'm told that's going to be closer to Christmas time.
And if it gets pushed back, it could be like next year Christmas.
Yeah, I don't think this will get pushed back. This is on a very regimented schedule. It's very they don't come out. You'll see.
Well, when it comes out and you become like uber famous, I wanted to have first dibs interview right there.
You got it.
Now, one more question before we leave, because it's almost the 10 o'clock time. If you could meet one person, I know you, like I said, you already know like half of everybody that's cool out there. If you could meet one person, who would you want to meet?
Steven Spielberg, without a doubt.
Oh, that would be iconic.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg is. I mean, the entire path of my life and choosing to go into art professionally and that kind of stuff was. I remember being in high school when Jurassic Park came out, and I saw it like 8 times in the theater. And I had already grown up being in love with all the other stuff he had done, but that was just like, all right, this guy's the greatest ever. So, yeah, I would love to sit down with him and just, kind of see what goes on in that head of his. I just think he's the greatest.
So what would be the number one question you would ask him?
Number one question, I would just ask him for advice, I guess. I don't really know a specific question I would ask him. I would probably just say, I don't know. I would probably be so just tongue-tied around him. I wouldn't even know what to say. I would be so starstruck with him. I'd have to go into that pretty prepared, I think.
That's how we work.
Yeah.
Like Trish says, that's how we get. Because sometimes we get to meet some people, and I'm like, bed dead, but I'm thinking Dan Parent. That was the only interview I've ever screwed up. Dan Parent is basically the face of Archie Comics these days.
Oh, nice.
And we were at a convention, and Trish went up, hey, can we do an interview? I was expecting him to say no. And he's like, oh, sure, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Oh, nice. And I actually freaked out in the interview because at the time that was the biggest person I talked to. And I'm sitting there in the interview, we're talking, and I just turned to the camera. Can you believe I'm interviewing freaking Dan Parent?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't usually get starstruck. I've met a few people that I've done work for that has been like a really big deal to me. But one time it happened, my wife still makes fun of me. Is we were at a firehouse. Firehouse. I know all those guys. I've been doing designs for them for years. So they did a show in Vegas, and we got to go. We were backstage with them, and Lita Ford was there. And she walked by, and I ended up talking to her for a minute, and I was just so caught off guard. I was like, oh my God, it's Lita Ford. And my wife still gives me crap about it because my daughter was standing right next to me. Like, I was so starstruck that I didn't even like introduce my daughter to her or anything. And I was like, I kind of felt bad about that. But
and see, and I saw that picture because I'm sitting there, like I said, going through your stuff to find pictures. I'm like, I'm turning to Trish. I said, he got to meet Lita Ford. He's sitting there. And Trish is like, oh my God, that's so cool.
That was a total fluke, but it was really cool.
So at least we thought it was cool too. So
well, that's good.
I'm trying to see. Well, hold on one second. You're talking about Firehouse, and let me throw up one of the designs you did for them.
There's some better ones than that one. That one's actually sort of a reconstruction of something older that they had that I kind of put my spin on. That was not the best one. There's some other ones.
Well, there's other ones, but that's the one I downloaded. So that's the one I had access to real quick, just so people could kind of see.
Yeah.
Because I only downloaded a few separate ones that you didn't send me. So
there's stuff in there I've done for Def Leppard, and Cinderella, and Skid Row, and
all the great 80s, 90 bands, all the hair bands.
Yep, all the hair bands. So I do a lot of stuff for the Monsters of Rock crews too, and Kicks, and there's a bunch of bands like that I do stuff for.
Oh, wait, see. Oh, I know you sent me something about Kicks.
Oh, I sent you that cover, yeah. Yeah, that one was cool because they use that on all their backdrops and stuff. So I see a lot of pictures of them, with that in the background, or the singer wearing that T-shirt and stuff, which is kind of cool. Not a lot of people know who they are, but they're definitely one of my favorite bands back in high school.
So where's your name hidden in this one?
I don't think it's in there. I don't think I put it in that one. I never think about that till I send stuff off, and I'm like, oh, I should have hid something in there. But
See, here's one of the last things. There's two things that you sent we hadn't showed yet, so I want to show them off real quick. This is another one of your discs.
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
that's a cool one.
That looks almost exactly like him.
It does.
Yeah, if you were lucky enough to get one of those discs, man, there's guys that will pay big money for that one. I get asked about that all the time. I wish I had a bunch of those, but I just did that for a job with somebody, so he got them all.
And then one of my favorite movies, May the Schwartz Be With You.
Oh yeah.
That's why on that one I saw you had a barf in that one. That's why I was like, oh, my favorite.
Yeah, love that one.
Now, is that the only Mel Brooks movie one you've done? Have you done other Mel Brooks?
I don't think so. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's the only one.
I was just curious because his movies are great.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, he was great.
And well, I'm waiting for him because most of his movies will be canceled nowadays.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles is definitely going to be on its way out for long.
Oh, no. And it's such... Everybody thinks it's such a bad movie. Well, we don't, but it's like it's actually bringing light to the problem. And that's the whole...
Yeah. Yeah, if you actually watch it and pay attention to it, it's,
it's actually making fun of it and bringing light to it. And yeah. Okay, Michael, so we've hit the 10 o'clock hour. Is there anything you'd like to tell everybody? Where to go, what to see, what to buy?
I don't know if you have my links to my Etsy store. My Facebook group is where I pretty much put everything.
Did she already put that up? Etsy?
I've got, yeah, that looks right. Or was that, I don't know if there's an underscore between Michael and Barnard. I think it's Michael Barnard Art.
The Etsy is, did you actually go to it before you? She
says
that she went to it. Yeah, that's it.
The link is a little different than the store name, but maybe that's how it works. But anyway, yeah, I've got Instagram, all that good stuff. I don't use it that much. Most of my stuff's on Facebook. I have a website. It's called sunburndesigns.com right there. But again, I had a friend set that up for me, so it's not like something I constantly update or anything. It's just a bunch of stuff that I have up there. But the Facebook group is the big one. And then, and for any disc golf people or whatever, that's where I feature most of the art and stuff. I'll put stuff up there all the time.
I think the Facebook is the Art of Michael Barnard or whatever.
Yeah, it's Mike Barnard Art Community is what it's called.
Did you hear that?
Yep.
Okay, there you go. She's going to put it up there real quick.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, that's about it. I put new stuff up almost every day. Work on all kinds of stuff from car shows to, rock bands and a little bit of everything. Garbage Pail Kids, and all that good stuff.
So when you do get the flux capacitor for the DeLorean,
yeah,
I'm going to ask one more question. What time period would you go back to?
I think you know where I'm. Yeah, right around 1985. I think that works good.
That's good. That'd be a good year.
Yeah, that's about it.
I was 10, so yeah, we'd be okay. Okay. Anything else you want to tell anybody?
I don't think so. Thank you to everyone. Thanks to you guys. Appreciate it having me on.
No problem. Hang out after the outro and we'll talk a couple minutes.
Okay.
I want to talk for a couple minutes. I know you probably getting hungry. It's probably dinner time about your time.
Yeah, I'm good. No big. I ate before we got on here, so I'm good.
I just need to tell everybody, next week's show, we are going to have Aaron. I'm not going to say his last name because I'm going to destroy it. Robleski. I told you. He currently has a Kickstarter going on, so we'll be talking about his comic book. Of course, this weekend, if you're in Orlando, we got MyCon going on. So if you go to MyCon, you'll see us there. And other than that, we will be online, getting Olo going. And Tom says, "Cool show tonight." This is the gentleman I was talking to you about
Okay.
with Daytona. He's the one who runs Daytona Beach.
Okay, cool. You have to get in touch with him. I would love to come there.
You can get in touch with him, get in touch with us. We can go through each other. That sounded wrong.
Yeah.
But hey, and I'm sober tonight and saying stuff like that. Woo! Okay, guys. Other than that, let me get down here to the outro. Until next week, see you guys later. Bye.